cell in you has got its job to do in the human body symphony. Together they join in to play their parts in perfect harmony. They play in perfect harmony in the wondrous human body symphony. The heart pumps the blood with perfection, creating a strong rhythm section. Piping the air in and out is what respiration's about. Your stomach, intestines, and liver. The digestive system, you see, gives the orchestra its energy. The muscular tone, supported by bones, gives structure and flow wherever you go. And need I explain your fabulous brain? The parts large and small conducts one and all.
What an amazing world we have. God has created, right, children? We can see a lot of animals, plants, all living things. Have you ever wondered how all these have come into existence? We know that a plant is going to come out from a small seed and a chick is going to come out from an egg. And we know that even the human being is made up of a small cell, which is that is a study, which is a very huge study, but we are all existed from a single cell. So this is a cell which we are all made up of. So the word cell is derived from the Latin word cellula, which means a small compartment. Do you know, children, can we see the cell with our naked eye? No, right? So it can be seen only through a microscope. So let's see a little bit about the evolution, how the cell has been evolved and from where it has been evolved. Every creation has a creator, every invention has an inventor, every discovery has a discoverer. Here we go with some of the contributors that who have discovered the cells. Okay, every part of the cell is being discovered by different scientists. First one, the first who discovered the cell is the Robert Hooke, the first to identify cells responsible for naming them. So he has found this in a bark of a tree, which he has taken out and observed under a microscope, and he has named it as a cell. And they are not living cells. He has found a dead cell. Next, we go with Leeuwenhoek. He had made better lenses and observed cells in greater detail, first to observe nucleus. Next, Clidden, the first to note that plants were made up of cells. And next, Quine concluded that all living cells were made up of cells. The last one is Virchow, proposed that all cells come from the other cells, means which are already being existence. That is nothing but the cell division. So cells are nothing but the building blocks of every life. Every cell, a small molecules are being made up of cells, and every cell, when they are combined with the other cells, which perform a similar function, makes up a tissue. The same tissues which are going to work together makes up an organ, and when the organs are working together, they make up an organ system, and the organ systems which are being working in an organism, that makes up the organism. So have you ever wondered that how big is a cell? Is it visible to our eye? Not yet. It is only visible under a microscope. They are very, very minute. We can say that each cell has its own size. We have many different cells in the body, not only in the human body, even in the plant cells. So the mitochondria is going to measure like a 1 micrometer. Red blood cells, like that we have many other cells which are going to measure in different sizes. We also have diversity in cells. Variation in number, we have variation in shape, variation in size, and variation in the structure. So variation in number itself means we have unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are made up of only single cell. Example, we can say amoeba. Multicellular organisms are made up of many, many cells. Variation in shape, we have white blood cells which are irregular like amoeba, nerve cells which are branched and very longer, which are present in human beings as well as animals, guard cells which are bean shaped. Variation in size, they are very tiny. For example, we can say bacterial cell is a very, very tiny shape. Large cells, the largest cell is the ostrich egg. So variation in the structure, prokaryotic cells, blue-green algae. Prokaryotes, I'm going to explain you what are prokaryotes and what are eukaryotes. Who proposed cell theory? We have many scientists who have proposed a cell theory. They have proposed that all living organisms are made up of cells. The cell is a basic unit of life in all living things. All cells come from the existing cells. So this is important because it shows that all living things share a similar structure. I already told that we have two types of cells. One is prokaryotic cell and the other one is eukaryotic cells. All cells, whether they are prokaryotes or eukaryotes, they have some common features. Eukaryotes have a nucleus, have a membrane covered organelles, have linear DNA. That is, every eukaryotic cell have its own nucleus with a DNA. That you'll be learning in your higher classes. This is a very vast topic that you'll be learning in your higher class. So here we have eukaryotes which are having a nucleus, and mostly we can see this in a unicellular as well as a multicellular organisms. And prokaryotes, we can say they are not well defined. They don't have a well defined nucleus in them. These can be found only in a unicellular organisms like bacteria. Have no membrane covered nucleus, have no membrane covered organelles, have circular DNA. Mostly we can find this in bacteria. Okay, let's explore cells. Means we'll look into deep into the cells, what's present inside the cells, which are called organelles. Organelles are nothing but the small bodies which are present inside the cell. Organelles are the structures that are enabling the cell to live, grow, and reproduce. So you can imagine such a smaller one, very tiny one, which is helping the whole big human body and the animals to survive, without which no organism is going to survive. So every cell consists of all these organelles. Every organelle has its own duty to perform. First is a cell membrane. It's the outer layer of the cell which allows only few nutrients, means it's a semi-permeable membrane into the cell and waste outside of the cell. I think you have seen the gate which is being arranged in front of your houses that allows only certain people, without which no permission they are not going to be allowed inside. In the same way, the cell membrane is going to allow only certain materials which does not harm the cell to get damaged. And we can see this cell wall only in the plant cell, which is found only in plant cells, which protects and supports the cell. This is because the cell wall is going to protect the plant from the harmful material which are going to be attacked inside. As they are being stable at one place, they have a different body, and this cell wall is going to be a protective layer. This is the next part which is present inside the cell membrane, that is cytoplasm, which is jelly-like fluid contained in the cell that holds all the organelles. I think all of you know the jelly substances, right? Some of the children are going to play with the jellies. So this is cytoplasm is also going to be a jelly-like substance where the all cell organelles are going to move in this jelly substance. Next is a very prominent thing, that is the nucleus, which is going to be the controller and the center of the cell, which is present at the center of the cell, which contains the cell's DNA. This is called a Mayer's office because all the functions are being performed by this main part, that is a nucleus. We can also say that it is a brain of the cell. Next is the mitochondria, which is one of the cell organelle, which is the power center of the cell because it is going to generate the power to whole cell, provides the energy the cell needs to move, divide, etc. So this also consists of its own DNA. So it is also called as an electric company of the cell. We can say it as a powerhouse, or we can say it as a electric company of the cell. Ribosomes, the site where proteins are made, cell parts are made of proteins. These are called factories of the cell. Next is the endoplasmic reticulum, which is one of the part of the cell, which helps in the transportation system of cell, where we have rough endoplasmic reticulum as well as a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So here we also, I told about the ribosomes. They are protein synthesizers, where the proteins are being synthesized over here. So this is also known as the roadways of the cell. Children, I want you to remember the keywords so that you can remember in your future also. I'm giving, for every cell organelle, I'm giving a keyword. You can remember that. Golgi complex, it is going to help in the packaging, and that is a packaging house of cell with packages, processes and ships out the stuff the cell makes. It is called the Golgi because it was discovered by an Italian scientist named Camillo Golgi. He was the first to discover the organelle. This is called the UPS of the cell. I think all of you know what is UPS, which is being used as an ultra power supply for your systems or for your house when there is no power. So it is also known as the post office of the cell. Next, here we have lysosomes, which helps in the digestion of food particles in cells, which is also called as a garbage man, and which protects the cells by digesting foreign invaders, which is also called the policeman. I'll be giving one more name. This is also called as a suicidal bag of the cell because it's going to absorb all the damaged part of the cell and it's going to throw out of the body of the organism. Here is a food vacuole, which helps in the storage of food and waste. Mostly this can be found in the plant cells because they have a very bigger food vacuole which stores the food. In animal cells, sometimes we find it is smaller or sometimes no food vacuole is being present. Next is chloroplast. These are found only in plant cells, contains chlorophyll, which makes the plants green in color, where photosynthesis takes place over here.
Humans, animals, and plants are all made up of cells. We can only be seen under a microscope. So you want to know how we form a body? Many of us join together to form a tissue. Then tissues join together to make an organ. After that, organs join together to form an organ system. And all organ systems combine together to form a body. So now you know that we are very important. Now let me tell you about my internal parts. My parts are called organelles. Let's go inside my body. Each cell is surrounded by an external membrane which gives shape to the cell. This membrane allows certain substances to pass through it, thus controlling movement of material in and out of the cell. Oxygen and nutrients can pass in, and carbon dioxide and other waste material can come out of the outer membrane. The cell is filled with a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. All organelles float in cytoplasm. Here is the nucleus. It is the control center of the cell. The nucleus has a membrane that has pores in it. These allow certain molecules to enter or leave the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there is a small thread-like structure called chromosomes. Chromosomes carry genes, which are responsible for hereditary characters that are passed on from parent to cell to the new cells. There's another important organelle called endoplasmic reticulum, which is a network of tube-like structures found throughout the cytoplasm. Its outer surface is either smooth or rough. The rough surface has other organelles called ribosomes. These make it rough. Endoplasmic reticulum provides a highway for the transport of material within the cell and often between the cells. They connect different parts of the cell and help them to exchange material. Now let's talk about the powerhouse of the cell. These organelles are called mitochondria. These are small, rod-shaped, and are found in large numbers. There are highly folded membranes inside it. These are the sites of respiration in the cell. During respiration, food is oxidized in the presence of oxygen, and energy is released. Therefore, these are also known as the powerhouse of the cell. Before food goes to the mitochondria, it needs to be digested. This work is done by other cell parts, called lysosomes. Lysosomes contain many enzymes, which help in the digestion of food. In some conditions, lysosomes release certain enzymes that digest the cell organelles. Due to this, they are also called the suicide bags of the cell. Other kinds of important organelles are Golgi bodies. These are the cell's packaging centers. Here, proteins are mixed with other chemicals. These are packed in bubble-type boxes. They break away from Golgi bodies and get pushed out of the cell membranes. So guys, you saw the important parts of my body. Oh, one more important part. Do you see these black dots on my body? Aha, yes, you can see these. These are called ribosomes. Either they float freely in cytoplasm or they are attached to the surface of endoplasmic reticulum. These are involved in making proteins in the cell. So guys, it's time to go.
Plant or animal cells. Found in plant and animal cells. All these organelles are not being found in both are not similar in plant and animal cells. Some are going to be differ, like we can see the similar particles that are nucleus, Golgi complex, mitochondria, lysosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, cell membrane, ribosomes, vacuoles. These are very similar in both plant cell as well as the animal cell, but we can see some differences in plant cell, that is chloroplast and cell wall are the additional things which are going to be present in the plant cell. So to make our cell healthy, we need to have a balanced diet. We all know what is a balanced diet. We are learning from our childhood and teachers are teaching us what to take and what not to take, which food is good for our health, which makes our cells healthy. Here is a small video which is going to show you the interesting facts of the human body. Thank you, children. Thank you and have a great day. I hope everyone have understood a little bit about what is cell. In detail, you'll be learning in your higher classes.